Hi, I'm Jamie Whincup and welcome to this edition of B Street Smart Online. This program is all about the importance of road and driver safety and the consequences of not doing the right thing. Most people think that you can survive a crash and everything is going to be okay, but what people often don't consider are the ongoing challenges that the survivor has to live with on a day-to-day basis. To talk to us about her own experiences, please welcome to the show, Heidi Hayden. Hi Heidi, tell us about Saturday the 12th of December 2009.
Hi Jamie. I suppose on the 12th of December 2009, I was 22 years old, so I was absolutely living it up. I was working as a hairdresser and studying to be a salon manager as well at the time. So I was just having an awesome time with my mates. I'd finished school, I was done, and all I wanted to do was just ride my motorbike. My mum rides as well, so I pretty much spent my time working, studying, and riding my motorbike to and from work and to my mates' houses and everything. So I think on that Saturday, I was riding with my mum and we went up to the city, and then as we were coming back, I remember it being a super hot day and our jackets were just stuck to us when we were trying to take them off. And we stopped for a bit for a drink just because it was boiling, and then she left and I went to the shop on the way home, and on my way home, I stopped by my mate's house and just decided to drop in to see what she was up to. And I think that is when I realised that would be the last time that I'd ever walk on this earth. So from there, I headed down to a roundabout, which is literally 30 seconds from my house. And I was turning right, and then just as I was about to come out of the roundabout, there was a ute coming from my left. And I'd already seen him, but I didn't think anything of it. It was a 40 zone, so I figured he'd be going pretty slow. And then from there, he didn't give way to me and he T-boned me and then bulldozed me into the guardrail. So as a result, I broke left-hand side of my body, majority of those bones, and I had lung contusions, which stopped me from breathing properly. But I think the most life-changing injury was the spinal cord injury. So that's effectively paralysed me from my chest down, so about there down. I'm T4 level. And I'm a complete paraplegic, so I think people get it kind of mixed up. There's complete and incomplete. So for me, the doctors kind of explained it like, your spinal cord is completely obliterated. And I went, oh, okay, then I'm probably not going to walk again. Cheers. And then there's incomplete, where if, there's lots of people that go, you just need to work really hard in the gym. And for me, that just doesn't. I worked so hard in the gym, and I'm still not walking now. But at the time, I didn't have much memory of what happened. So for me, I just remember needing to cough really bad and like I was winded. But then I think my most favourite memory of all that I always hold dear to my heart is this. All of a sudden there was this super loud noise, and it was a buzzing noise, and I just couldn't figure out what it was. I was in and out of consciousness. And then a really, really bright light, and then out of nowhere, like the hottest guy I've ever seen in my life with these beautiful piercing blue eyes just kind of went in front of the light, and I was like, oh.
Was he good looking, or was that just the morphine?
I'm going to say he's good looking. And I'm going to stick to that.
Have you met him since?
I haven't, no, I haven't, which is sad. Well, I should say I have, because my boyfriend kind of looks like what I imagined.
Oh, nice.
But he just came out of nowhere and put his hand on my head and he said, it's okay, Hides, you're okay now. And I thought, you know what, if I'm going to die, this is the best way to die ever. So, at that point I actually thought I died, and then it turned out it all went silent because he put earplugs in, and I went, oh. And then I found out he was just the emergency officer on the helicopter. So that was sad when I woke up in ICU, and I kind of had my hands here, and I just went, oh, I didn't die. I'm just in so much pain, and that guy, and there was too much happening. So I remember waking up though and feeling my legs and just going, this is weird. Like I can't even, how I get people to imagine what that feels like when I tried to move was like, and I'll get you to do it, this is really weird, but this is totally what it feels like. If you put your middle finger down like that, and then put it flat on your knee, and then try and lift your ring finger.
That's not
That's me trying to stand up right now.
So
it was bizarre, and I can't.
So you know what you need to do. You just can't do it.
You just can't. It's just impossible to do. And touch is the same. I always get the kids that I talk to feel the person next to them's leg or arm or something, and that's what it feels like for me to touch my leg. So I was kind of in ICU going, someone's in the bed with me or there's something really wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was when it started to get really hard because I started to realise that this is really bad. This is really life-changing.
This is you in hospital? How long were you in hospital for?
Not very long. I think maybe a month or so.
Yep.
So it was like my first ride out and I had all bruises around here from my helmet because it came down so heavy.
Yeah.
And I think it was really hard because it felt humiliating. I'm out there in a blanket purely because this guy didn't want to give way to me, which was one of the hard things for me to deal with. And I also had surgery on my spine. So along with the spinal cord injury, I've got 2 rods and 16 screws from here to here.
Yeah.
So all that hardware had to heal when I was in there as well.
How's that go at the airports?
Yeah, not too bad actually.
When
we had the court case, it went off every time.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it depends where I go.
Yeah. What would you say the hardest thing is living with a spinal injury?
I think the hardest thing, especially on a day-to-day basis, my routine just takes ages now in the morning. I used to be able to get up, get ready in half an hour and I'd be sweet.
Yeah.
But
what is a typical routine of the morning?
Now it's, as soon as I wake up, I have to put my bed up because I have no trunk muscles, so I can't sit up on my own. And then I have to transfer from my bed to my shower chair, do my bowel routine, have a shower, transfer back to bed, get dressed while paralysed, which is so hard to do because your legs are just like, I'm going to do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where you put me.
Yeah.
And then transfer into this chair and then do hair and makeup. So it's absolutely exhausting when you're learning that kind of stuff. But yeah, so that stuff on a day-to-day basis is just insane.
Yeah. So it's fair to say life's a little bit different now these days?
Just a little bit,
yeah.
Well, it's good though, you know, it's kind of, I'm on both sides of the fence, especially when I talk to younger people about being safe and everything. You know, like I love my life now and I've travelled the world and I've met someone and we live in the city and we've got all sorts of animals and reptiles in our house, but I would give anything not to do what I have to do every morning to be up and ready for the day. But, you know, it just means that I've got an experience to share in my job, and the job that I do is working in spinal units, so I get to share my experiences, teach people how to be independent, and kind of help them through that struggle of rehab and getting back to what normal is and being social and stuff.
How's the family dealing with it all?
Pretty good. My mum was like absolute rock from the very beginning. She was there from 7 a.m. when I wake up till 4 o'clock when I go to sleep because, you know, you don't do anything, so there's no time to sleep there.
Yeah.
But she's been amazing. You know, she helped me be social again and get back to who I am and bought me hair dyes and got my hair washed while I was in high dependency unit because, you know, they're just the tiniest things but they're the biggest things and they mean everything to you. But yeah, she pushed me to go outside. Like I remember when we were in hospital, and every day without fail, she would say, do you want to go to the shopping centre? And I was like, oh, no, stop. No, I don't want to go. I don't want to go outside and be around people. But, you know, the one day I finally went and I just said, oh, thank you so much. I just need to get outside and just dive into the stairs and that kind of stuff. People staring, not stairs.
Yeah.
That would be bad.
So do you still love motorcycles?
I love them. You know, I kind of, even when it just happened, you know, my mum sold her motorbike straight away and I just thought, why did you do that? You know, we love bikes and it's purely something that makes me super, super happy.
Yeah.
And every motorbike rider will agree, the
Likewise.
feeling is like nothing else.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I started thinking immediately how I was going to ride again. So I ended up getting this custom trike made by this guy on the Central Coast, which is all custom to my measurements. It's called an Oz trike.
Yeah.
And like I say to everyone, it's clearly overcompensating for not being able to ride, walk.
Yeah.
But, you know, it was so worth it. I love it.
You should have brought it in so we can have a look at it.
Yeah, well, I would have, but...
Oh, hang on, here we go.
Wait a minute.
Here it is right here. Check it out. Oh, wow. Switch it off before we all go to sleep. Is this Mum Jenny?
Yes.
Yeah.
How are you, Jenny?
Good, thank you, Jamie.
Do you mind joining us on the couch? Jenny?
How did you get in here?
I know.
Now, accidents don't just impact the victim, they obviously impact the family quite heavily as well. How's your experience been through the whole situation?
It was really tough after the crash. I took 4 months off work. to support Heidi and be at hospital every day and do lots of running around and just being beside her through every bit of rehab and everything, so she knew it was okay, she had someone. And then we worked really hard for 2 years for her to become independent, because we figured she didn't want to be stuck with a mum for the rest of her life, which I didn't think was a great idea for a 22-year-old. And I also didn't want to be a carer, and they had always said to us there's not much she won't be able to do. So we worked very hard for those 2 years, and then I went back to mine, and as Heidi said, she's got this incredible life now. And
how close were you beforehand?
We were normal mother and daughter.
Yeah. Obviously, it's brought you a lot closer, though.
It has.
Yeah.
Look, you know, Heidi was living with her partner for a long time before the accident, and, you know, I was letting her be an adult and not all over her life or anything, but heaps closer. It's more like friends now than mother and daughter.
What would you say is the hardest thing you've had to go through?
I think the hardest thing has been, as a mum watching your child have to go through that struggle at the beginning. I think that is the hardest thing. You actually wish it was you for a long time. I mean, I sold my motorbike immediately the accident happened because I was too freaked to go back on the road, and thought, well, I need to be there for her, I can't have a crash. And so you go through all of that.
Yeah. It's obviously it's been years now since the crash. What are your ongoing concerns, if any? Because Heidi's so independent, I don't really live with worry, you know. If I had to think about what worries I had, it would be, should something happen to her and how easily she may recover from that. She recently fell out of a chair, and, you know, that was another 4 months while we waited for her shoulder to fix itself. And the only other one, if I ever had to think about it, is when Heidi's old and mum won't be around. That makes me a bit sad if I think about it. Boyfriend's job.
Yeah.
But
He always says that when we get older, it'll be cool because he'll just get a power chair as well.
Yeah.
So we can just scoot around together.
Roll out in the sun together.
He's already on the back of the power one with the skateboard.
Yeah, absolutely. Heidi, what can you share? What can you share with our viewers on your experiences?
I think the biggest thing that I tell people is, you know, you don't know what everyone else is going to do. You could be the best rider or driver in the entire world, but you don't know if everyone else is going to follow the road rules, if they can even see you. And the other thing is to listen to hesitation. You know, when I got to that roundabout, I could have easily just waited the 5 seconds until he was gone through, you know, and vice versa. But, you know, it's just not worth risking your life or someone else's life, because it's a ripple effect. You know, it affects everybody, and affects you or someone else, as well as their family and friends and doctors, nurses, every single person involved. But that's the biggest thing.
Well, can everyone join me in thanking Heidi Hayden and her mum Jenny for joining us today? Over the past few episodes of B Street Smart Online, we've taken a look at what happens at the side of a road crash, the consequence of being involved in a crash. We've learned about how cars are made for our safety. We've met a number of people who have been affected by road crashes. Thanks for joining us for this journey through road safety. I personally encourage you to drive safely on the roads. Remember to put the phone down, don't drink and drive, stay away from drugs, and never drive tired, and keep under the speed limit. Remember, it's just not worth dying for. Before we go, I'd like to thank Woolworths Petrol for supporting us and for being our presenting partners. For more information on today's episode, please go to our website. Thanks for joining us today for this episode of B Street Smart Online, and we look forward to seeing you next time. I'm Jamie Winkup. Stay safe.